What's going on, guys? You're watching The Modern Man, and we've been sitting down talking about things that men in today's day and age go through in terms of conversations, growing, reaching their full potential, and everything else. Joining me today, Nate C. the Cheat. You heard?
Hey, Nate C. You heard?
What's going on? Tyler Harris, Charles Russ, the usual suspects. And I'm not a father in any way, shape, or form, but all three of you are fathers. And not only are you fathers, you're also killing the game in what you do. As men, a lot of us are ambitious. We want to reach our full potential, but we do know being a father is a 24/7 type of career. How do you guys not combat, but how do you balance that hustle, that ambition with taking care of a life?
I'll say first, I've been doing this for about 3 months.
Veteran.
I've been doing this about 3 months, going on 4 months. Yeah. And so I don't have all the answers yet. So the balance isn't. I don't even know if you really get a balance. I don't see balance in my future as of right now. How old is your little one?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2?
And I'm right. I am no different than you 3 months in, I assure you. But I think it's embracing the imbalances and just trying to go all in all areas. I think there's no perfect world where we're going to sit back and be like, man, everything is just in perfect balance right now.
Yeah.
But it's just being in a state where you can understand, like, oh, okay, I need to spend a little more time at home right now. Cool. And then you go execute. Okay, I need to spend a little more time at work right now. Okay, you go execute. I need to go spend some time with my daughter. Okay, great. You go execute. And just being aware of the imbalances. Like, I think that's the big thing, is because, like, when things do get out of whack, being able to understand, like, oh crap, like, I'm a little out of balance right now, and if I don't put some effort over here and balance this scale, then things are going to go bad at some point here in the near future. So it's being more aware of the imbalances, I think.
Yes, that's 100% it. And as they get older and they develop personalities, like I'm sure, like my kids are 15, and they're twins. So for a while, it's the same person. But they're 100% not the same person. So I'm sure your daughter is starting to develop that personality. So the first thing I have to understand is my kids aren't me. And that's not a bad thing. They're them. And you have to nurture that and make that the best thing it is. I mean, we all played sports. This is just an example. We all play sports. What if you have a son, he comes home and is like, Dad, I don't want to play sports. I want to be in the band, and that's all I want to do. That should not, but it should
Go
be
to your room.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of this house. But that's not it. It's nurturing that. You know, even the differences I have with my kids. And I used to just grind on them about, you got to do this, this is the way you do life. That's not it. You know, you let them determine their path, because there's a million paths to success and happiness, which is its own conversation. What is success and happiness in life? Man, if they're not gonna hurt anybody, and they're on a path to being a productive part of this thing we call society, just nurture that. And figuring out how to nurture that, because it's going to change. What they need a certain time. I had a conversation with TJ, and I said one of my things is, and this is exactly how I look at my kids, I want to be what they need. At a certain point in their life, I felt like nobody was on them. Everybody was kissing their butt. And their mom used to wonder, why are you always on them? I'm like, because nobody else ever is. It's always beautiful. Now they've gotten older, it's not like that. So I can praise them. I can do that. I can say, man, y'all did good. Dad, we played bad. You didn't play bad, son. You made a couple mistakes. You didn't play bad, but you need to remember your mistakes, and let's work on that. Now I can do that, because as a dad, I feel like you got to be the jack. You want your kid to develop. Everyone else is going to do what they want, but that's your child. You see what everyone else does, and you know this is missing. That's got to be you.
Well, yeah, you setting them up for the real world, man, because everything isn't, butterflies and rainbows, man. You know, you gotta, it's cool when they're young to always praise them, and everything is cute and everything like that. But once they get, especially teenage, man, middle school, you got to start like, look, you about to start seeing some things. There's gonna be a lot of changes in the way you think. There's gonna be changes in your friends, and you gotta, and especially getting into high school, they're ninth grade.
I'm going to 10th grade.
Going
now.
to 10th grade? Wow. See, you know, after a while, they want to get a job.
Pay for them Nikes, boy. Y'all out of kid sizes. I can't kick it no more.
You got to contribute.
So you ain't a father, you ain't got a goldfish or nothing?
Nope.
You ain't got no pets, Nate. You ain't got a pet. Like Nate, at least you had a dog before. So
Yeah, I'm sitting here taking mental notes. But 3 months, 2, and 15. What's story time? What's the craziest thing your child's done so far that kind of just like floored you?
I'll say, I'll go first. I think maybe everything's crazy because she's changing every day. So, you know, the first thing I think was her looking at me. You know, actually, because when babies are born, they can't really see right. And so when she got to where she could lock in on us, I'm like, oh man. I looked at her like a real person, like, oh, you can see me, I can see you, you know. And then, you know, the whole thing about her, like the first smile she had, and you know, the first time she like halfway rolled over, and you know, just everything's crazy for me right now. Like every day something different happens. So
made a person.
Yeah.
And I'm like right in that phase where she's really becoming like an actual human being.
Yeah.
like a personality, like an attitude, like all these different things. And one of the things that this is the first thing that popped in my head that just drives me crazy. Like I'll try, like she'll be like kind of pitching a fit, upset about something. We'll be like at a store, at a parking lot or something. And I'll like pick her up. And she does this thing where she just like goes limp. Like her whole body just like, it's like it loses all skeletal. It just is just like, like goes completely limp. And I'm trying to hold like a wet noodle and it gets me so freaking angry. I'm like, stop doing that. Oh, God. It makes me so.
You embarrass me.
I'm just like, what are you doing? She's just like literally just like hanging off my arm, and it just drives me crazy. But I think she knows it drives me crazy now too. So I need to get a little bit of better poker face.
Oh man, see, having the older kids, I get to go to the dark place. It's not a dark place, and I think you two may have heard the story before, and it's still a funny story. It's not bad. I say all the time, I'm blessed, not good. Oh, I need some wood to have good kids. So we're playing travel basketball or a tournament. I forgot where we're at, but we're too far away to go home between games, you know. So we're going to a restaurant and waste some time. They're in the car, and the age of the internet, things are different. One thing I did realize early, and this is literally a lesson to anybody: if your kids are old enough to have access to the internet, and you shouldn't anyway, but never lie to your children, even if you think what it's like. West Point we call it equivocation. You tell a little lie just so you don't. It's like you go to someone's house and you eat, and it's horrible. When they say, "How do you like it?" you say it's good.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's equivocation.
Yeah.
Don't equivocate with your kids because they will find out because they're gonna look. I mean, we didn't have internet. We didn't really have, you know, I think we're all in the same range where we kind of had internet, but it wasn't like it is now.
No.
They can find out whatever, and sometimes they're just asking to see if you're gonna tell them the truth. I'm gonna caveat with that. So we're in the car, we're riding, and we're having a great weekend. I think that we're balling, you know, they're playing good. We're in the car, we're listening to music, we're dancing. I'm taking my little Instagram videos. One of them says, "Dad, what's up, son? What does gangbang mean?"
Oh my God.
Hold up, wait a minute. We got.
Hold up.
Okay.
Just hold it, because it'll make sense later.
All right.
And I said, they're in like 7th grade. I'm
I
like,
need some context.
yeah. But that's exactly. I needed some context. I said, why? They have older brothers, not my son, but they have an older brother.
Use it in a sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. Using the sentence. So I said, why? And he said, well, I'm outside with my friends. We're playing. Cameron's their older brother, and some of his friends were out there. And I pointed my fingers at my friend, like, bang, bang, bang. I'm gang banging on you. Like I'm a gang banger.
Got it.
And all the older kids started dying laughing. I mean, these kids, so if my boys are 11, 12, these kids are 16, 17, you know, and they're dying laughing. And they don't know why, and they're like, what's it mean? He's like, yeah, don't say that, don't say that. So, but still, like I said, there's the internet. So you know what they did. I know what they did as soon as this moment happened. They were like, does it mean when a whole bunch of guys are with...
Yeah.
I was like, you know what I said? Yep. You're laughing, but what else was I gonna say? I'm glad he said it so I didn't have to say it.
Yeah, true.
But that was like the craziest moment, and then I realized that the internet has literally taken over, They'll go to somebody. Even you think you can put parental lock on everything? No, you can't lock everything. They're gonna find out. But that honesty, it bred honesty later. They're honest with me, and people say no, they're doing stuff and you don't know, maybe, but they've been pretty honest with me thus far.
Yeah.
I have no reason to believe they're not. I've heard conversations between them and their friends, and they're not the ones recommending we run over here to this crazy party. Like, nah, man, I'm not going over there. I've heard, but that was just that first sentence, the same reaction y'all had, and I'm in the car, one's here, and I think it was one in the back. Damn, what does gangbang mean? Because he meant it like I'm a gang banger.
Yeah.
Like I'm a crip and I'm gang banging.
Yeah.
But what did y'all think when he first said it?
I thought that first, and I was like, ooh. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? That probably would have been my same reaction if I were in your shoes.
Yeah. Why? You tell me why, and then we'll tailor this conversation.
And see, I'm glad we talked, because I wouldn't even done that. I'd be like, sit down, sit back, shut up. don't ask your mama nothing.
Never heard of her.
Yeah. I don't know her. Who is that?
Would you guys say, because like a lot of men, they're very career driven, right? And they want to be successful in what they're doing. Would you say having a child increases the hustle, slows the hustle, changes the hustle? What does that do to kind of what your goals were before fatherhood to now that you're a father? How are your goals altered?
I think it definitely changes things, and I think, at least for me, I think everybody goes through seasons, and so I've had seasons over the last 2 years of having my daughter where I've been extremely career focused and used it as an excuse, is like I've got to focus on the career even harder because now I've got a daughter. And then there's been seasons and months in those 2 years where I've been super focused at home because I've got a daughter. And it's finding the balance between those two, but it just sets a different perspective, I think. It just puts it really flips your perspective on everything. It's not just about you, it's about your family now and what's best for them. And to me, that's been a huge motivator. It's been a huge motivator in order to succeed in business, knowing that you've got a lot more at stake now. But I think there's two sides to it.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't decrease. It doesn't decrease the hustle. Definitely changes it. I'm right there with you, man. Like, back before I was even married, I was DJing like 5 nights a week. I don't do that anymore. But, am I more successful in how I conduct business? Yes, I am. And so, and now that I have a kid, it definitely I have to refocus. Like, all right, what do I need to put my time more to as far as work goes to make sure that I have enough time at home? So, I can say, I got a kid now. Now I need to go back to DJing 5-6 nights a week. No, that's not where I'm at. I want to make sure that I'm getting the most out of work, and that will allow me to get the most time at home. So, I can't really say, what I do different. I just know that when opportunities come to me, I'm always weighing my options. Like, is this going to allow me to still spend time, still have date nights, still spend, all the time I can with my kid. And, this is kind of how I have to make my decisions nowadays. So it definitely changes the hustle. Hustle does not decrease at all whatsoever. If anything increases, it's definitely like the motivation.
It's a redefinition, man. We all, I would say, it redefines the hustle. I think all of us are kind of on that self-improvement path, trying to do better. But one thing that we talk about a lot is capacity. If you have, you have your cup of water at any given moment in your life, whatever, and you can pour it into whatever cups you want to. You just created a new cup.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you have to pour some into that cup, which means A, you're either going to lose something time-wise, resource-wise in another cup, or you learn to become more efficient and things take on different levels of importance. Just to be, being open and upfront, like, I was in I was in the military when my kids were born, and I wasn't together with their mother. So one of my main reasons for getting out of the military, I was stationed in Germany. One of the main reasons for getting out of the military while I was in Germany is that I couldn't come back. Like, you got 4 weeks to leave. That's what you got. There was no determination for me the next place I would go. And the economy was bad. And I still got out and I started my business. And I stayed in Germany and started my business, but I left whenever I wanted to. I was back every other month for a couple weeks. And that was the start of my growth and learning. And the reason I came back to Greenville was literally one of them said, "Dad, why don't you just live here?" Exact words. And they were real cool about it. They're like, "Dad, you know, if you lived here, you would miss in games. You would."
Like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, you would come to all the games. Yeah, and I had always thought of it, but now they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And so that's like just their development, man, and learning. Because I did everything I could. I mean, I had this video conference and everything, but it's not the same. And and that's something, that I always have to be like, man, you miss those. And I owe that to them. It's almost like you can't make that up, but I owe that to them to do whatever they need me to do. One of my 90-day goals was to, when they start school, I typically only get them on the weekends because they get out and they play sports. So they don't get done till 7 o'clock. So it doesn't really make sense for me to pick them up, take them out of my house. It doesn't. But this year, I'm telling myself, we're doing dinner once a week. And I've kind of got my little plan. Every other week, I'm going to have somebody come with me, a friend, somebody they know. But every other week, it'll just be us. It's just like, hey, what's up? What are we doing at school? What's going on? So it just redefines your hustle, man. Your priorities change, and that's okay. We're allowed you can shift tomorrow if you want to. That's totally okay, and that's what it did for me, because I even changed from the time they were born. I can tell you the person I was before they were born was not the person I was the day after they were born. Immediately, knowing that I did this and I owe it to them. It monetarily, emotionally, I owe them that, and that just took over importance.
Yeah.
I think my problem with this idea of balance is that 99.9% of the time, the context of the conversation on this work-life balance has to do with taking away from some area. And it's usually the work area. Like 99% of the conversations are like, I'm working on my work-life balance, so I gotta start leaving the office a little earlier. And what people don't, for whatever reason, think of is the fact that you can balance a scale two ways. Yeah, you can take away from one side and it'll balance, but you can also just add to the other. And so when you look at, the way I like to look at it now is just look at like, am I thriving in all the different areas? And so that may mean like, I don't need to work less if I need to spend more time with my family. I may need to sleep less. I may need to like hang out with friends less. I need to go less happy hours. I need to go to less, extracurricular activities, anything that's going on outside of work and family. Maybe I need to do those things less. But I think people use that as this crutch or this excuse to say like, you don't ever hear the conversation, you don't ever hear this conversation. Man, I've been crushing it at home this quarter. Next quarter, I'm gonna take it off a little bit at home and I'm gonna go like all in at work. Like that conversation doesn't exist. And so why is it only used in the context of taking away from something? And so my idea is just going, it's not my idea, but the way I look at things is just going all in each of those areas. And again, identifying those imbalances to be able to know which area you need to keep pushing to get all in on, and just looking at thriving just as a whole, not in this area of what can I possibly take away from. It's like that's a lack mentality to me, as though there's only a certain amount of hours in a day. I've got my sleep, I've got my fun, and then now I got a balance between work and home. That's just, it doesn't work like that.
Never enough hours in a day.
So you can drop that fun, but that's why that's why I'm a big fitness pusher. My boys like the guy I'm friends with is like, man, I'm killing it at work, but I'm so tired when I get home. I'm like, well, since I've known you gained 40 pounds and you don't get up, but if I was going to the gym, I'd have to get up. I challenged him. I'm like, we'll get up early. I'm like, well, get up and go to the gym for 90 days and see what happens. He drops 25 pounds. Now when he gets home from work, not only he's more, you know the game. Oh, yeah. You're more productive at work. And now when you get home, you're not tired because you got a 2-year-old, she's like, I'm ready to go. Let's get some things. Lego time. Now, you know what? You get home, you pull that tie down, you're like, it's Lego time. Instead of being like, I gotta rest, I gotta snap. It's literally, man, there's a way. Like you said, it's like a 4, 5, 6, depending on how you break your life up. There's a scale with all these different places. You can balance it. Like, yeah, forget sleep, man. If my kids want to do something,
We always make time for the things that are important to you.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a harsh reality that a lot of people don't really keep themselves in check with.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm not spending the time there, then I have chosen that that's not an important area of my life, and that's a hard pill to swallow based on some people's actions, what they're really actually doing on a day-to-day basis.
Well, we all talk about our hustle and fatherhood, but let's give it up to like the real MVPs, because you have a partner in crime here in terms of when you're out hustling and you're away from the home. Typically the mom's watching over the kids and whatnot. Something you brought a real good point to before, Nate, when you mentioned still spending time with my daughter, and you also mentioned still able to do date nights. How important is it to kind of give your teammate that praise for helping you do what it is you do when you're away from the home?
Man, it's one of the most important things in my life, in my whole situation. Like, and on top of all that, we're blessed to have our parents, who can give us a couple hours to, say, hey, watch the kid. Here, the baby, we're gonna go, we're gonna go get something to eat. We're gonna go, I'm gonna sit at the house. You know what I'm saying? But no, we try to do date night every week, and like that's how we started. Before the kid thing, and that we made that a staple. We need to make time for ourselves, and on top of all that, like now that we have a kid, she deserves it, man. It's just, it's. If I didn't genuinely just want to go and date her, like, she deserves it because of how she takes care of our family. So it's one of the most important things. So if you got, that's just my situation. So some people don't have their, they don't live with their significant other or their baby mama. You know what I'm saying? So if your baby mama's taking care of your kids, you can find different ways to tell her, hey, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? So, find out what works for you. That's what works for us. And so, the kid got here because we have a good marriage. So we need to keep building on top of that, and as well building as a family. The three of us. So that's where I'm at with it.
I think communication's key in keeping in check with the partner. I spent 238 nights in a hotel last year. That is not easy. But it was even harder on my wife than it was for me. Like, I was the one away.
Yeah.
Like she was the one at home with the child, handling everything at the house pretty much. But it's the communication and understanding that, hey, for the next 3 months, like I gotta go. But here's what's going to happen in 3 months. Here's what we're going to be doing in 3 months. And keeping that lane of communication open at all times for her to feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, been gone a lot lately. Like we should probably be home a little bit more. And to understand that from my perspective of saying like, oh, got it. Completely understand. And then know when to pump the brakes with traveling and keeping up with these schedules to make sure that it all keeps going around. The only way I've been able to do what I've done over the last few years is because of the fact that my wife was so strong and independent and able to handle that situation. But now she's in a position where she's starting a business. And so it adds like a whole nother level to it. And it's been extremely humbling and extremely good experience for me to see her in that environment and to understand how difficult it is. And this probably brings on a whole nother topic with gender roles in a marriage, but it's extremely difficult for her in the fact that like I leave and go to the office, or I leave to go out of town for work, and she's got a daughter and she's trying to start a business and she got nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide. Like the 2-year-old's running around and I'm like, hey, see you at 6. good luck working today.
Yep.
And there's something wrong with that. But like, I don't know the solution to it. But it's these gender roles that have been defined forever. But it's given me a tremendous amount of respect for her, seeing her do her thing, starting her business while taking care of our child. And it's given me the opportunity to step up in certain areas and help. And I'm not helping near enough, certainly. I have a lot more that I could be doing. But man, the communication and all of that, they say, the communication's key. Communication's everything. Like it's the only way it works is if you're able to actually talk about it. And if the person's able to say like, hey, things aren't working so well right now, let's look at the situation and to be open to having those conversations. It's the only way that you can stay in a productive environment, especially in a marriage. I think it's key.
Thanks, kid. So, so I'm the baby daddy, baby mama guy.
No, we ain't calling you no names. We just talking.
Yeah, we
That's
just
how we
talking.
do it.
I'll just say, okay, so I'm that guy, and it is communication's still key.
Yeah.
As much as even in a moment of disagreement between the two of you, communication is still key.
So it's like, look, I'm gonna be there at 6.
At 6.
So please have them ready
But
at
then
6.
you better be there at 6. But honestly, I can't even put that on her. We get along. We get along. For the guys in the universe that are in my role, you don't have to be friends. If you are, it's great, but you don't have to be friends. You just have to respect one another and communicate. That's literally it. And I'm looking directly in the camera because it is the biggest truth. You respect each other and communicate. I 100% respect how much she loves my children. I appreciate it, I respect it. And then you get the other part of that, like when you do decide to have a relationship with someone else, one of the big things is that my current significant other wants to spend time with my kids. She actually gets mad at me sometimes because I'm like, we're gonna do this, man time. And she's like, oh, I want time as well because she wants to be a part of that. And that's, honestly something to look for if you do have kids and, if they want to be involved with what your kids are doing, take your kids places, invite them everywhere, introduce them to her. I mean, she does all of that. So I'm very lucky on both ends of that spectrum. And it hasn't always been like that. Like we've disagreed at moments. I've disagreed with my children's mother, disagreed with my girl about things, but a disagreement is a form of communication. You got to put it out there, you got to talk about it, and you got to figure it out. And at the end of the day, when everyone looks in the same direction and says, well, they're the most important thing, don't make any decisions based on what you want. Make all your decisions based on what they need, which isn't always what you want. It's not. You may think they should.
You ain't gotta say nothing.
No.
You ain't gotta say nothing.
No. I'm about to get deep. I'm about to go up under some sneakers or something, man. Well, yeah, that's it, man. They're right.
Yeah.
Talk, say it, figure it out, write it down. If you can't agree with your talking, put it on a piece of paper. Look, this worked for both of us. Done.
Yeah.
Communicate.
Now, as having two 15-year-olds, have they brought girls home yet? Girlfriends? Any?
Ain't no bringing girls home, Ted. Why you bring
Like, Dad, this is my girlfriend type thing. Any of that?
They've had girlfriends.
Yeah.
Nothing. They just got permits, so driver's license is coming at some point. I don't know. One of them kind of iffy on that. I don't know if he's gonna be able to drive for a minute. Smart one gonna be driving soon. Yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about too. They're not there yet. They're very athletically focused. That's what they want to do. It's not a press for me. They're like football, basketball. I'm gonna play football and then I'm gonna go play basketball, and then I'm gonna play a little Fortnite and go to sleep. That's it. That's what they want to do. I haven't had that issue, but I've seen it. So when they played, especially when they played travel basketball, all the kids would want to hang out, or I'd take a couple of them. It'd be me, my boys, and another kid, or whatever. And those conversations are out there. Yeah. It's a different universe, man. It's a different universe than when we were in school. and you have to watch it. And even when you guys kids get older, 16 years from now, it's going to be immensely different. I mean, it's changing every day. Ted, if you have a kid, you're going to be at the back end. You're going to be like, man, what is going on? I'm going to call you. They got this new app where they can see out each other's eyeballs. It's going to be insane, man. You just got to watch it. But they're
my son's dating a hologram. I don't know what to do.
hey, but communication.
She back talks to me.
Yeah. I got cussed out by a hologram. Dad's like, don't talk to my son was like, don't talk to my girlfriend like that. Like, what? But communication is still communication is still key. Because if you communicate with them, at least you'll know what's going on.
Yeah.
And at least you'll have a shot to try to coach them. And because imagine coaching the kid. It's like my kids we're playing baseball. I can't help you in baseball. I've never played, but I can pay attention and learn from some other people, and then try to help you on what I see. That's what it's turning into, because man, it's different. Social media is different.
Yeah.
Like you hear these stories about, oh, this kid took a picture and now it's all over the school. We didn't have that problem. I got a beeper. I got 35 cents. Let me go make this call. That's all we had. So it's just different. It's communication. It's staying on top of things, not being intrusive, but communicating so they'll share with you and they know it's okay to share with you. I feel like that's the biggest thing. If you can establish that and maintain it. My child knows sounds silly. This is a safe place. Like I can talk to Dad. I can literally have this conversation with Dad. He's not going to judge me. He's not going to flip out. If my kids came to me and told me they were doing something that was bad, I say, well, son, you know you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You got to be in trouble for this. But let's work through it.
I bring up that dating question too, because whether you're raising sons or raising daughters, I'm interested to know what qualities of a man would you want your kids to kind of like value and respect, and kind of here's the hard question: is what are you doing to show your kids the qualities? And I know you.
Yeah, see, I ain't worried about that right now, Ted. I ain't worried about no man she gonna see in a year. I'll let you start, but I ain't worried about it. Which camera I'm looking to?
right there.
It's not happening, brother.
So, it's the way I look at life now. Is what would my daughter say if she found out about this? What would my daughter say if she heard that I said this? What would my daughter say if she finds out that I did something like? That's the way I look at everything, because my wife's strong. Like, she's strong, she's independent, like she'll be fine. Like, she'll be upset, but she'll get over it and she'll be fine. Like, if I look at all this stuff coming out in the news, all these different people that have assaulted people and all this stuff, like if something like that were to come out, like my wife, she'll be fine. Like, she'll divorce me, move on, be happy, live a great life. But like, I'm worried about what my daughter, like what's my daughter gonna think if all of a sudden something comes out about me and she were to find out. And so that's kind of the lens at which I view the world now. And it's a powerful one. It's a very powerful one, because there's a lot of responsibility with that. Sons, I would imagine, to the same degree, but something about a daughter, man. It's a heavy issue for sure. And trying to be that man, like not like what would that man look like trying to be that man, like striving to be that man that she would one day bring home, I guess. I don't like the way you said bring home, like, not bring home, but like introduce you to. I think it's a really, really good, I think, place mentally to be striving for that on a daily basis. It kind of keeps things really in a good perspective from my mind.
I don't know. I was joking earlier, not really, but
He wasn't.
I definitely want my daughter to, when that happens, that she find a man that's better than me. So I have to be the best man that I can be. So, I mean, in a nutshell, without going too deep into it, then that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? If and just having a kid just makes you think, okay, I got to stop doing stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a DJ, so, part of my life is partying, whether it be starting a party, whether it be a part of the party. that's just what it is. So I have to make sure that I party responsibly, whether it's, you know, whether I choose to partake and drink while I'm working, or whether I don't want to, you know, that's just like little changes here and there, and how I carry myself, how I talk to women, how I talk to my wife. You know what I'm saying? When she gets old enough to understand the conversations and the interactions that I'm having with other women, I want them to be positive ones that she will look at and say, okay, that's how a man needs to treat a woman. That's how I need to be treated. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's having to, you know, make sure that I whatever I do in front of her, or whatever she may, like you said, if you do it, if it's on the internet, the way things are nowadays, you know, I just have to be on top of my game all the time, and just, you know, make sure that whatever she sees is a perfect example, well, not a perfect example, but an example of somebody that she would want to date later. You know, that's why I said, you know, when we plan to keep up these, me and my wife plan to keep up these date nights. So when she gets dropped off, she knows mom and daddy gonna go on a date. You know, my daddy still opens doors for mommy and me, and I don't deserve anything less. You know, just, you know, little stuff like that. So I'm still learning. We're about 4 months in. You know, ask me in about 30 years when she's allowed to date.
But it's important. You're setting the standard. Like you set the standard, and you make it to where, like, instantly that the guy in your head that you don't want, like, there's no way that guy could even enter into the conversation, because you've set the standard so high that they would never allow that type of person even. They would never even entertain that as an option, because you've set the bar so high. I think that's the goal.
Yeah. How important is it to teach 2 young boys how to be men?
Man, you know, they're gonna be a reflection of me, reflection of the way I treat people, reflection of the way I do things. Their mother can teach them a million things, but at the end of the day, they're men, and they're gonna emulate what they see. So I definitely, not gonna say I'm envious of you guys as having daughters, because I have a goddaughter, I have some nieces, and the worry button, it's literally just a worry button, and that, I think that's a natural man response, to worry about females, protect females, to think of the protection side. But setting that example, it goes both ways. The example of the man that I want them to be. Lucky for me, my girlfriend calls me out on it all the time. if I'm not setting that example, she'll be like, well, you know, your boys see this, your boys see that, you do this, you do that. She calls me out on it, and she's right. You know, I need to be the person I want them to be, and that's an example all the way around. We're talking about dating, but I'm talking about even the person I want to be like. I make sure they spend time with my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, I would say 3 years ago, they weren't too into it. Now they're like, hey, we're going to see Granny. They understand. This person isn't going to be there. You need to talk to this person. You need to know this person. You need to understand this person later. So I think I don't want to limit that thought process to just dating. Even the hustle I put in for the work front, I want them to see that. Yeah. And I think that applies to, as like you said, with the changing dynamics of the household, that applies to young ladies as well. You want them to see that, like, hey man, I'm out here working for it. I'm working for it for several reasons, because I want to provide for you, because I want you to be better than me. I want you to have better than what I had. You know, I want to step up on what was provided to me. I want to step up on that. So it's an all-around just example. And when you lock that in your head, when you wake up in the morning, you said, I'm the example. I'm the example, and I got to be that example in all aspects of life for this person that I created. It'll change that mindset. It'll keep you locked in and make sure you are setting that example.
So wrapping it up, for everybody watching, men, maybe some mothers, some wives, some fathers, some like me, not a father yet.
You gotta get you a goldfish, man.
Like a puppy or something.
A hamster. So you want a little dog?
I mean, I had a rock once.
I'll let you babysit my dog.
Like a little practice. But
man, because I babysit Nate's dog.
Yeah. He took care of the dog for. It's your turn.
Yeah, I'll babysit.
I'm sorry. We're talking about
I'll babysit. But like, what tips warnings, advice could you give to somebody either in the midst of fatherhood, not quite there yet, thinking about it, or already knee deep in it?
Man, communication and be the best you can be. I ain't gonna warn you about nothing because stuff's gonna happen. And stuff's gonna happen. You can try your best to be ready for every single thing, and something will still happen. So communication with your partner, be the best you can be, and that's about it. Oh, and if you're waiting on having enough money before you have a kid, you ain't gonna never have a kid. Just go ahead. If you're trying to have kids, go ahead and have one, and then the money will come as long as you still hustling, staying on top of your stuff. But if you say, well, I'm gonna wait till we pay our house halfway off, and then I'm gonna wait till about 20,000 in the bank, it ain't gonna happen. You ain't gonna never have that money. So something's gonna happen to your house. You gonna have to get it fixed. Have a kid, man. That's the way the universe works.
Man, so tips on kids. One thing I'll say before I say that, like the day or two after that last Kanye album came out, I was out running and that song Daughters came out, and I'm like putting away tears trying to run. I'm like, dang it, Kanye. Talking, if you've heard that song, like it's deep on some stuff, like talking about like not wanting that guy to come around, and like I was that guy or I am that guy. And he's talking about not wanting her to have curves like her mother and all that kind of stuff. I was like, man, this is deep. Anyway, side note. But tips, man, I think it's just understanding that you're never going to understand everything, but just always trying to bring your best, to do your best, like Nate said. But I think the biggest thing is quality time, like making sure the quality time with the kids individually, with your spouse, and just making sure that time is super valuable, because time is all we have. Time is our most valuable resource, and I can even think back to just these short 2 years to the time that I missed being away so much, and now just trying to create those memories now that she's like, becoming an actual human being with thoughts and memories, trying to create as many moments as I can. And when you're there, like being not just present, but actually being available. I think someone said this, I don't know, it may have been Jonathan, about listening with your eyes, not just your ears, like being like fully in that moment is powerful. And I think that's probably my biggest tip.
You guys hit on the head. Be as much a part of their lives as you can. I would say one thing is know the world they live in. It's not the world you live in. It's not the world you were raised in. Understand it. Now that doesn't mean when, I'm wearing baggy jeans and that's not me, but I understand their world, so I can be empathetic with any situation they go through. Not sympathetic, because I'm not gonna have sympathy for you if you go out and do something stupid. I'm your dad, I have to show you that it's wrong, but I can empathize with, I did something stupid on social media, it caused this, and this. Or be able to empathize, because the more you can understand them, the more you can work with them, the more you can talk to them, the more you can relate to them, and the more they'll be able to relate to you, which inevitably breeds trust. Because that's every parent's biggest problem. I feel like at the end of the day, as kids get older, they don't trust you. When they do something wrong, they don't want to tell you because they don't trust your response. They don't feel like you're there to help them. They feel like you're there to punish. So live in their world with them. Teach them about your world.
Yeah, but back in my day,
yeah,
that was coming up.
Yeah, back then in the day, when I used to walk 5 miles up hills both ways in snow. I didn't have no my iPhone. I only had a 30-minute battery. I don't live in their world. Be a part of their world. Understand what they're going through. Because if you don't, how can you tell them how to navigate?
Yeah. Nate, see, you heard? Yeah, appreciate you. Guys, thank you. And pretty much, You're not ready. You're not going to be ready. I'm not ready.
You're not ready.
He wasn't ready.
Well, I mean, that's the main takeaway. The thing is, we learn as we go. We try and be the best that we can, be an example, be a beacon, and understand the world they live in. I really love that point. And I also love Nate saying, hey, the universe works. You're not going to save up enough money. If you're ready, just jump in, even though you're not going to be ready.
I'm just saying, it's just what it is. You know, you can have $1 million. I'm gonna wait till I get about 2 million before then all my kids be straight. No, man, just go ahead.
Jump in that cold pool. You'll
Go
get
ahead.
used to the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Realistically, yeah, the time will never be perfect. And we touched on it a lot. Communication. And shout out to all the real MVPs out there, the moms that make the men's hustle possible. This is Modern Man. Go out there and do your thing.